case. They got little stuff to do. I'm saying, I'm saying, girl. Look at this. Empty desk. Mm. Mm. Yeah, look.
See if we can find.
Yeah, we're live. I know. Yeah, I know. I said we would do a class because I thought we never gonna do it in the computer lab. That's sure.
See. Comes my screen. All right, today. I can see like that. All right, so here we go. Can y'all hear me out there? IT District 120. The world is yours. Julie TV. Phil G. Kashim Shabazz. Is it frozen?
Well, you got it. Hmm.
So the screen is frozen, but you can hear it. Wise ruler. Let's see. Let's see if we can remedy that.
Yes.
That's such a class, man.
Yeah, this is three. This is the two. This is the way, bro.
1 2 1 2.
And the other girls who could come.
Okay.
See, where I'm at, I can see myself moving.
Let's go.
So I'm good now. All right. That looks like we came to a little. See, we up here with Prince Supreme.
Prince Unique Supreme.
Prince Unique Supreme.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
It means prince because it's a king. But I say he's still a prince. But yeah,
Prince means prince.
the prince. Unique is also the son. Man.
Unique is the same.
But,
Where you getting this stuff?
no,
Where you getting this stuff?
again, so
Yeah. Where you got that from? That unique means the same.
because that's so the son. But I ain't just I don't know that, but supreme is also the power. No, I got.
Supreme is the power.
Yeah.
See, you stop studying.
I mean, I was supposed myself that I had to write down, this paper, this paper, this paper with the food stamp cash, all that. I forgot to study. My bad, stuff came. I'm about to go back to. I don't go to something to study again. So I could be better this game.
Yeah.
And I'll be divine principles class to me.
Because you see the stuff that keeps happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that's why it keeps happening, right?
Yeah, so,
Because you ain't studying.
hey, because you thought I ain't got no 21 lessons.
Huh?
And it was got to the 136. I'm gonna get the older pages going.
Yeah. And you gotta stop thinking you're against it.
All right, yeah, that's something. You're right. I gotta stop thinking. You're right. You're right.
What's today's mathematics?
Wisdom. All be born, cultural freedom.
What that means?
Amazing. Spirit operates.
What does wisdom mean?
Wisdom's wise. Wisdom's a wise man. Well, mm,
Wisdom is a wise man. What's wisdom? Don't tell me you stop studying that much.
the supreme advance.
See, look, you come here every day.
Ah, my fault.
Yeah, you
I
gotta.
gotta study my lessons.
Yeah.
Right. Now I gotta go back. I didn't read the supreme lessons over and over again. Yeah, I gotta do it again because
See, look, man, look, wisdom is wise words and wise ways and actions, right?
No, I gotta stop saying. I gotta
So,
stop
look,
thinking.
what does that mean when it says wise ways?
Wise ways.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess the what?
Hmm?
Because it's a
See, your ways is how you do things. You understand what I'm saying? When you do things, do you use your knowledge or do you just whatever comes to your mind at whatever given time, you just do it rather you think the outcome is going to be good or not. Or even if you know the outcome is bad. See, is that why are you going to get the best part, the understanding by doing that?
uh,
Hold on for a second.
Was gonna stay yesterday, but I fell asleep.
Yeah, but why you got to study your lessons? See, that's one of the problems. You know why you studying it?
Because because I lost something.
Because you lost something. You got to study it because you need to know the lessons that's in there, so that you can apply them.
Yeah, I understand.
See, you don't got to know it.
I know
You don't got to know it for me.
I get it for myself.
You're right. You got to get it for yourself.
I got what you drinking? Coca-Cola? You know it's too much sugar, huh?
Huh?
No, you know it's that much sugar. Look, oh, calories of sugar? That's too much. I know me. I'm not no good with more stuff. I drink water,
You telling me about dietary law?
Yeah, I told you, look, you were telling me about dietary. But that was my stuff. My Bibles is stuff that my son got the guts was got fatter, and then that, and that's what I mean. That's why I had to get diet because I just slimmed down.
You must be with Harmony Equality, the tagging that lady.
Yeah, I just slimmed down to so uh,
So let's get back to the people over here, man, because see, we stay with you. You need to listen now.
yeah, I need to be in class more often.
You need to listen.
Yeah, I need to listen. I gotta listen to you. Can't listen to nobody else.
No, that's false.
I gotta listen to everybody else.
Now, see, what you got to do is
I gotta listen to myself.
right. Well, look, you got to develop. You got to develop your understanding of mathematics.
Yeah.
See, because look, no matter what people are saying, right, good or bad, right, you still got to do the knowledge to it because it might save your life.
You do have to see my life.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But you gotta know how to analyze it. You gotta know what you're hearing. You gotta know if what you listen to is good or bad for you. And then you know what you gotta do?
Yeah.
What you gotta do?
I do.
You gotta take the part that's good for you, right? And you gotta keep it up here. And then the part that's bad for you, you gotta leave that alone. Leave that where you find it at.
Everyone else keeps on the questions. They keep asking me questions. That's
You keep asking you questions, man, because we gotta get you on point.
Yeah, because they ask you why you here? Why you doing? You here? What you got here for? So I said, I don't know.
See, look, there's some things about studying your lessons, man, that you need.
Mhm.
So you need structure. You know what structure is?
Trust,
Structure.
trust
See, it means you need a set of productive things that you're doing all day long. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't slip into no type of negativity. You see what I'm saying? I told you ain't gotta apologize to me.
Yeah.
Because you ain't learned it from me.
I'll keep going. I'll keep
You learning for you.
Learning for me.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning for myself.
All right.
That's what I have to do, learn for myself.
But we're gonna do the live. We're gonna continue
Yeah.
build with the live stream on what we was already talking about, right? In terms of, wise words and wise ways and actions. You know what I'm saying? And just dealing with, let's see, wise words, right? It's not just what you say. It's how you say it. See, if somebody gets up in your face, right, and starts, pointing in your face to the point where their finger is touching you, right, and they yell in your face that the black man is God. You're not going to accept that the same way as if the person greets you with peace, right? Tells you their name, asks you your name, right? And there's some building that occurs there. See, that's a an outstanding example, but hopefully it makes the picture clear for everybody that all of that is included with the wisdom, right? Because look, if the wisdom is how you make your knowledge known, right? If the wisdom is how you make your knowledge known, and if when you speak to people, you're speaking to the supreme mathematics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if people is not absorbing it, yeah, that can very well be the fact that how you're manifesting it causes your wisdom to be ineffective. And it reduces you to somebody just out there running their mouth about something don't nobody want to hear.
Oh, yeah, right, bye.
See, that is what is being left out, right? That's what's being left out of wisdom. That's what's being left out of wisdom, right? Is that, with every degree, with everything in life, right? We got to break down the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And see if any of them things is out of place or out of season, then it's wrong. It's not exact. So see, look, what you said, could be the truth, right? But who you said it to, you understand what I'm saying? Who you said it to, that could have been unwise. Maybe that person is not in season. Maybe that truth, right, is an adult truth. It's adult business, and you went and said it to children.
Man, I should have said it to the so I can say Marvel to the adults. Okay, so
See,
it
could have been the truth, right? But look, that truth, you're supposed to go down to the elementary school, say that 8 to 3, man. This is not something for you to come into the after hours spot and try to teach people. See, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand, right? Lord of all worlds from highest to lowest. And see, a lot of people get caught up in that, right? When you're real good at one thing, you're super duper good at one thing. If you're around the right people, or if you're around the people that you need to be, they'll think you're a genius. You see, that small area of expertise, it don't really, you can't really live by just that small area of expertise. See, that small area of expertise don't include everything in life, love, peace, and happiness. See, and keep that in mind, right? Everything in life, love, peace, and happiness, right? See, it didn't say everything in life. I was right every time I argue with a motherfucker. You think about that too. Just keep that in mind. I mean, a lot of things. Look, in order to achieve love, peace, and happiness, yes, sometimes we got to go through some trials and tribulations. I understand that. But just remember, man, that's Yakub's laws, right? That's Yakub's predicted history, right? That is going to be death, hell, and destruction. You know, the rapture and all of this type kind of stuff. We supposed to get peace and happiness.
Peace and happiness.
So you go out there, you saying whatever you saying, right? Is it going to lead to love, peace, and happiness?
No, I've got enough. I gotta put love, peace, and love, happiness, but can't can't put negativity in me.
Yeah.
I got
You,
that. I got.
you see where you went wrong recently. You see where you went wrong recently not doing that, right?
Good doing the wrong because I'm good. That's why I came because this I forgot this city thing, this inner city, because this is where I I come from. This is what have it's always around. It's always around. I'm always around people's around with dangerous peoples. This is
What
why
dangerous people?
like some dangerous people like hustlers, gangs. Okay, sorry. I mean some murders,
How many?
rapists.
Stop it. How many times I gotta tell you you ain't no gangster?
I know, but I ain't.
Chance how you got yourself in trouble right now?
Uh, because I did good. I did good behavior.
Because you did good behavior.
I didn't do it.
You did? Yeah, you did.
Did that was good. I was never been that good. I wasn't raised that way.
Right. Right. You wasn't raised that way. So what's all the stuff you talking about? You in the street with hustlers and all. What are you talking about?
I was all the life I keep choosing. Shit happens.
You life you keep choosing. And that's the life you keep seeing on music videos and talking about. You better cut it out.
Movies, documentaries.
You better cut it out
I know those.
before you mess up your life. See, I know your family. I don't know what you're talking about. You've been around dangerous people. Cut it out, man.
He said nothing. So look, okay. I
I ain't even gonna go into that with you, man. Just cut it out.
I'll also.
Yeah. See, look, that's one of the things that I'm talking about. See, you need the structure, right, of building on mathematics so that you don't slip into this kind of conversation and start talking crazy, man.
No, no, I won't talk crazy.
Cause see, you start talking like that around the wrong people, you know what's gonna happen?
I can get down.
They're gonna, they're gonna, they're gonna, they're gonna get you to do some stuff for them, right? And then when you get in trouble, they gonna act like they ain't never knew you. And see, that's gonna happen because you're not like that. So, like I said, stick to building on today's mathematics. You know what's today's alphabet?
Says after. V. Victory.
What that means.
Means about Timmy. My bad, God. Okay. Just skip.
If two teams is playing and one team gets a victory, what that means?
Means they won.
It means they won. Victory is when you win.
Yeah.
See, you want to win. You want to win by applying the right plan. So you apply the wrong plan, and then you be a loser. What's your physical degree?
Wisdom and understanding.
Yes, you're trying to be a gangster after wisdom and understanding. That's how you lose. That's how you be a loser.
You're right.
What was we again over here? What we was doing?
Huh?
What we was building on before you interrupted me with your gangster stuff?
I was telling him I've been through something like that long ago. Because sounds good. When I was a young boy. I never listened. Never did.
Will you stop it? Look, you remember this Christ right here, man. Why do you keep talking like that, man?
You're right.
No, you need to ask yourself that, man. Why are you attracted to that stuff?
Because it can't be me. The half of me was gone.
You can't be you because half of you is gone.
If all day my family keeping secrets, keeping lies, so I can't trust nobody.
There we go. Like I said, man, get back. You got your wisdom lessons.
Spring lessons in my backpack.
Or you got the lessons in your bag and you don't know.
I'll get that.
I don't know. I don't know. Hey, listen. See shit like this, man. Now you make me feel old, man. Back in my day, we walked to the school barefoot in the snow backwards with no shoes on. And we loved it. And we knew our lessons. What's this?
Supreme lessons. Someone gave it to me. It used to be theirs. They gave it to me.
All right. Now look, because because this is a kinder, gentler me, right? You know, a wiser, you know, more considerate me, right? I'm gonna tell you to throw this out. I'm not gonna just throw this out.
You gonna tell me to throw this one?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna just throw this.
Oh.
I'm not gonna just throw this in the garbage because you said it has some kind of sentimental value for you there.
Yeah.
But this,
Yeah.
this, I mean, look. Let me look. Don't throw it. Do this, right? Do this, right? Just put this away, right? Hold on, wait.
That's good.
Right? And when I say well, I mean deeply put it way away.
Oh, wait,
way away.
wait.
Right? Put this in the category, right? This is the category you put this in. You put this in the category that this is not our lessons.
So just put it back?
Hmm?
Put it back to someone else?
I mean, I would, you know, but look, in time, you know, you can see this is even this right here.
Mm-hmm. My bad, good. Oh.
I mean, no, you didn't know.
That,
But yeah, this is.
man, I do make mistakes.
You know, somebody tried to help you, but look, this is the kind of stuff that you got to do, right? I mean, this is what I'm saying when you examine stuff, right? See, this is one of the first things you see right here, right now. Look, what that says right there.
Cleanse 13, hey, that's cleanse 13 Allah.
All right, who's that?
Allah the Father.
Who?
Cleanse 13, no, it's Allah the Father.
What does this name mean right here? What does this mean?
Means he used to be part of some Roman Malcolm X nationalism. Always like Muhammad.
Okay, and what does this name mean right here?
I love descended from the nation of Islam.
What did you say?
Nation of Islam.
You said Allah what?
I said Allah the Father.
No, what does this name mean right here?
Allah.
Right?
Yeah.
What does that name mean?
That means you got the pop, you got the rules of all those.
The supreme being?
The supreme being.
That's the supreme being black man, right?
The supreme being.
And you said this name right here means that you a member of what?
Of the nation of this earth.
This right here?
Sinners.
This means this. See, this look. This. What's your name?
Prince Unique Supreme.
So let me ask you a question. How can your name be Prince Unique Supreme and his name be Clarence?
Clarence was his Muslim name.
Oh, so you.
But his role was Clarence.
Hold on. So did this right here? Did this happen when he was a Muslim?
Well, yeah, it was before he became.
No. I said, did this happen when he was a Muslim? I asked you about before.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes, it was when he was a Muslim.
This you said this flag right here. You saying that this was manifested when he was a Muslim?
He was.
So you Muslim?
No.
So okay. So you're not a Muslim, but he is a Muslim.
He used to be, but he became the father's son.
Okay. So once again, I'm gonna ask you, right? Did this happen when he was a Muslim, or did it happen when he was 5%?
He was 5%. 5%.
Okay, so see, anytime you see this right here that refers to him when he was a Muslim, that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Right. Sorry.
So I'm trying to look, I'm just giving you, that's something that you look for. When somebody tells you that they giving you something that's supposed to be from us, and it says Clarence on it, it's not us, it's not from us.
Nope. It's Allah the Father.
And remember, your name cannot be Prince Unique Supreme, and his name is Clarence. This is our brother right here, Prince Unique Supreme. We have to help him. You see, that's where, look, you can't leave nobody behind. You know, you can't leave nobody behind, but look, he's gotta be on point too, like everybody else. You know, look, if you here, you got it. It is what it is. They're not gonna treat you no better, no worse, no greater, no less. So it it is what it is. Right, Prince?
Right.
Hey, look, if y'all come to the show and prove or to the Philly picnic, right?
And Children's Day.
And,
Don't forget about that, because
yeah, that's where y'all can meet. Y'all can meet Prince Unique Supreme. You know, he's a builder. Look, he's the reason. He's the reason that I came to. I saw him on Saturday. He said, "Listen, man, what's up with the class, man?"
and we first met each other about 3 years ago. Remember that? Remember when I got here?
Yeah, I remember.
That was like in February.
when you start being over there in the computer room.
That was February. Man. Yeah, before after before I was Prince Supreme. That was the name. The name came from Prince Supreme Allah, and then 2 years later, but also a year ago, I had to change the other name. Is besides being Prince Supreme, is now it's Prince Unique Supreme. I go,
You gotta learn what that means.
I don't know what it means. Yeah.
Shit, look,
I can read the dictionary, you know.
look, not this time. The next time I see you,
Yeah,
I'm gonna write down some stuff for your name.
you're right.
Because how many letters Prince got in it?
P. P.
Yeah, nah, see, you're supposed to know it. You're supposed to know it.
I mean,
That your name is that's about you, right?
right.
You got knowledge of self, right?
Right.
All right, then you're supposed to know that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, time is long because I gotta get back to the shelter. I want to say I'm gonna get back. Gotta get back that place to.
Mm-hmm.
I know because I decided to like a London. Hey man, I know we could do. I know we're gonna finish by 10. Or I don't want to be late.
Yeah, go ahead, handle it. What you got here?
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna build with you next week.
No, study your lessons.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna study my lessons this week, next week, and 6 weeks, and I'm gonna take months to get my lessons.
Continue daily.
I'm gonna continue my lessons
Daily.
daily. Yes.
So we're somebody bring me back up to date there. What we was building on. We got in here. Don Bishop. I was born justice. Delphi Bill. Boy Shalaj. Bill OG smells good. I got sincere. Nobody is did I throw everybody off with that? I'm trying to get back to where I left off. I mean, I know what the entire live stream was ultimately about. Wise words, wise ways, and actions. Yeah, that's the whole. But where was I? What was the last thing I was saying? I know. My overarching thing. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Said the way 1 second. But what I was talking about was the science of, you know, uh, can you only spit fire and brimstone? What you said, Phil G? I don't understand that question. Some people understand the life taker concept, right? They can execute the life taker concept much better than they can the life giver concept. So is are you the master of the action or the reaction? I have no idea who that was. Just try to call me. District 120. Well, I mean, no, it's not a versus concept. It's just What's the standard that you're holding him to? What's the standard, on what basis is that, right? That, we will walk around and feel some type of way if people called us by our honorable name, right? But then you're going to refer to him by a name other than who he manifested what he is. Like how they say, a good name is better than gold. Like do we want to take everybody back here? Like, nah, you're not whatever name you said you're the pig eater. You're the pig eater that you was 40 years ago. Like, look, even my family, staunch Christians, after a certain period of time of me living this out, you gotta respect, that's when I go around my family, listen, they make my food on the side. Like, look, we got this over here. We knew you was coming. So we got this over here for you. And the kids, we got this over here for y'all. My other cousin, he Muslim. Him, his wife, all his kids, yeah, all of y'all, is this y'all stuff over here. And so just in general, this is what I'm saying. I don't know of him ever telling nobody over here that his name was Clarence. I never heard that. Maybe I mean I'm not saying that was some type of secret or whatever, but that's not who he manifested that he was, that he is. I've never heard none of the brothers over here referring to him. The people that I've heard referring to him as that, they're from a different set of ideas. They're all people from a different set of ideas, right? That according to those set of ideas, right, it's difficult for them to call him Allah. So you got to say things like, yeah, Allah the Father. He's not your father. What are you talking about? See, I'm aware of that. So as soon as I see that, I know what I'm dealing with. I never looked at that like that, Phil G with Kanye. I never, I always looked at it as a function of when his OE returned. But maybe that name change did signify something. Who knows? So there was a question somebody had. Oh, you said, why do I think it's easier, most people see. I mean, there's a lot of different examples that I see out there. You know what I mean? Like, see, for instance, right? See, to go down, right? You know, what we perceive as down, right, on the planet, right, towards the planet, there's already there's a gravitational pull already downwards. You know, like the way down is kind of free fall, whereas to go up takes power. And just, you know, in life, I seen that, you know, if you just go with the flow, you know, you it's just fast and easy to end up in a wrong situation, a bad situation. You know, that's at the end of the day. You know, you can, you know, anybody can find themselves, you know, in the you know, the negative situations. But you know, you gotta pull yourself, you know, through the negativity into the positivity. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to stay in hell, right, and become uh become, you know, powerful in that realm of hell, right, than it is to pull yourself out. You know, to pull yourself to right. You know what I'm saying? So you know, that's one of the challenges of being who we say that we are. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the things why I say that, you know, this is not salvation. You know, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think anything else is either. You know, people that uh, you know, accept Jesus as their savior, you know, still go through you know, hells that they have to pull themselves out of too. You know, the difference is just how they feel that power was manifested. To rise above the clouds is to fight against gravity. You know, there's there's two sides of it right there. What you say? You know, now look, I understand what you're saying, right? How they say, coming from the bottom, now we here, or whatever. How they go. But you know, I'm just saying, you know, theoretically, right? You know, we was teenagers, right? See, you supposed to be the sun, and so then and therefore, what was you ever doing in the realm of six to be fighting against gravity in the first place? Man, I miss the old sword fighting days, man. I miss the sword fighting days. When I was born, said they feel like the power comes into them, not out of them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought you was the maker and the owner. That's but see, look, that stuff got you sharp. That stuff got you sharp. It prepared you to not take nothing on face value. But what's the name? Plus, I know I didn't get a chance to charge up fully before we came in here. So we're gonna start the wind down early. We're gonna start the wind down early today. For the people that you might be newer to the channel, don't panic. Don't panic just because I said I'm winding down right now, right? Welcome to the channel. Y'all about to meet these people. Speaking of that, I got the whistle name today too. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this here, but we could give it a we could give it a try. We got the we got the link back today. The link is always dangerous. Nothing is as bad as when we had the phone line. Whew. When we had the phone line, like, gee, that's Shaquest that was doing the coding. That Emma, welcome to the channel. Is anybody in it? Hold on, let me check and see if anybody. I don't know where I hit the note. You said, does God have create a storm in order to master one? Well, I don't really understand the question, but my initial answer is the only way to master some things is to leave them alone. That's just the way mastery works, right? The only way to master some things is to deal with it. Like there's some things that you could study, into, becoming the most fluent at the language of speaking about it and all of that, right? But without doing it, like you can uh study basketball, right? But you wouldn't be LeBron James, if you study everything, the history, James Naismith, the peach crates, where he got you it wouldn't make you a master at basketball, right? As opposed to crack. Like there's really no way uh there's no way to master, drugs by using them. You know what I'm saying? Like like right now, if you sit in the room, right, you would say that the person that had the most experience smoking crack in that room, right? Because we had, let's say you had three people, whatever. The person who had the most experience smoking crack in that room would most people would say that they got the least control over it. They got the least mastery of it. As we would opposed to that, we would say, okay, somebody who spent, 30 years in the NBA as a player, as a coach, as an executive, we would say, yeah, this person probably has more mastery, right, than say a rookie, right? So, that's my off the top answer initially from what I understand from what you said there. But yeah, I didn't really understand it. Do you have to create a storm in order to master one? I mean, really, sounds like a little bit of jackassery too. Like you're going around, creating storms so you can master them. I guess depending on what you mean by a storm, yeah, that's jackassery. So you are the creative of all things in your life. There's always a role you play. Oh, you said I'm dialed into this yay situation. What's the yay situation? Yo, that's another reason how I know. Look, I don't care nothing about pop culture. Like, I don't think that like stuff be happening. People be on the news. I'll be like, who? I ain't ever heard this person in my life. Yo, Wild Supreme. Speaking of that, I got I still need to record that other jump off, man. I need you to roll through. Uh I don't know what your schedule is, but I need to handle that that second jump off. That's for a it's not really time sensitive, but I need to do it. I don't know if you was on yesterday. but Kanye was wearing a Black Klansman suit. All right. Uh, you know, see, what it is with Kanye, man, right? This is what's fucked up, right? Is that and see somebody said a minute ago, right? Kanye versus Ye, right? See, everybody's making money off of his instability. See, people say attention grabbing antics. And look, I could be wrong. I don't know him personally or anything, right? But I'm saying I've seen it happen with other people. And see, just my experience, right, with the music business, that's one thing that I've seen is that that's a factor. That's a factor of the people that they elevate is they vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, that's one of the reasons why the child star, these people are always young. Because they vulnerable. A lot of them is mentally and emotionally unstable, and they picking them right because they can take advantage of them. Because these are people that is easy for them to convince that they're their friends. You know what I'm saying? And then when the person starts wigging out, they say, "Oh yeah, they crazy. They on drugs. You know, uh, yeah, malleable. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson. Uh, this is going back a ways, but Britney Spears. It's various people that especially in the music game. So, that's the sad part about it is that, I don't think, he's aware of what he's doing. It's hard to imagine that this level of self-destructiveness, right, can be a part of a sane person's life. You know what I'm saying? And so, at this point, I think it's just people, look, they made money. They made money off them on the way up, right? And now they're going to make money off them on the way down. You know what I'm saying? But he's in a position where, uh, it's the power that they're giving him, right? That's making him a spectacle. Like when he shows up places dressed crazy, they could just as easily say, "Look, we're not gonna pay attention to this crazy motherfucker." Look, it's people that come everywhere dressed crazy, but because they can't make no money off of putting them on the cover, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, even when you think about it, a lot of things Kanye be doing, you see this shit on the news. This is not really, this is for TMZ or Entertainment Tonight. This is not for, front page in the Post or the Daily News or the New York Times. So, I ain't defending what he doing. I ain't saying that is right, but I'm just saying that, you better step back. You better step back, right? And assess assess the situation, right? As yourself as an individual, right? Are you trying to make sense out of the musings of an unstable person, right? Because my way of looking at things is that if somebody's unstable, right, and the things they do make sense to you, if this stuff makes sense to you, you know, Luke Cage, The Rings is actually coming excellent. Look, this week, that was the messed up thing. I was going to demonstrate that I could do dips now. Like before, just with my neck and all of this was connected, I couldn't rotate down to really dip my chest into get that stretch. But yeah, I'm able to do that now. The rings was good because you can adjust once you on the floor. So the rings, even though it's unstable, that helps it a little bit because if you got to move around a little bit in order to get into the deep position. But now I'm good though. I could do it I could do it with the regular uh the dip side of the machine. They sent Emmanuel says uh it is said that there's a thin line between genius and insanity. No, it's not. It's not. See, what you had, right, is a couple of people that was highly intelligent and on drugs. You had a couple of people that was highly intelligent and a little bit unstable. And so, uh, you know, someone made this statement, but the reality is, right, that there's plenty of people that's unstable that can't spell their name. And there's plenty of people with extremely high IQs that, have absolutely no they have absolutely no mental or emotional issues. You know what I'm saying? Uh there's some things where I can see where that, in terms of if a person is, their genius is at inventing things. So maybe somebody first said in 1850 something, right? They might have said, look, I'm about to invent this horseless carriage. It's going to be a carriage. You're going to be able to get in there and ride across the country without no horses. And people might have said, yeah, all right. That sounds crazy, right? So, in ways like that, but we don't want to get carried away to where every time somebody says something crazy, right? See, because that's why I say this go off the deep end, right? Where every time somebody says something crazy, instead of it being acknowledged, right, as all right, this could be a sign of instability here, right? It's like, oh wow, this person's a genius. you know, uh, That's a danger. But with him, man, you know, what I'm saying is this: Stevie Wonder didn't have to do none of this shit. I mean, look, as good as whatever, however good you think Kanye is at making music, right? I'm saying I don't think he's better than Stevie Wonder. So I'm just saying that Stevie Wonder is evidence that you is evidence that you don't need to do that. You know what else? What else Luke Cage took me a long way? Kettlebell swings. About 2 weeks ago, I started doing kettlebell swings. That elevated me through the listening. He said Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution, seeing the unseen. But Kanye is wilding. All right, but see, here's what I'm saying. I disagree. His knowledge is limited. Was is simply a man who needs therapy and time with his kids. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like he and see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing you gotta realize, man. And this is one of the reasons why I don't know about Kanye like that. Is see, you kind of participating, G. Like when you click on them stories and everything, you participate because see all these flashing lights in his face and these stories about him, people say whatever they say, that shit ain't helping his mental health. That shit, all of that shit is exacerbating this shit. Like what I'm saying is, look, it came a time when I stopped watching Jerry Springer. Like I probably was the first person that watched Jerry Springer when it came out, before they even got into their whole stride with the uh, you know, paternity tests and all that type of stuff, before they even hit that. I was watching that type of TV. It was this show called Non-Broadcast Plaza. That used to come on years before Jerry Springer came on. I was already watching that type of TV. You know what I'm saying? And one day I'm watching it, and I realized that, yo, I've been watching these people all this time and shit, and I'm laughing at them, but I'm participating with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever little part that they get from me watching this shit, like if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't have this shit on. So, like I said, I know things be interesting, so there's some things you do what you do. But at the same time, you gotta realize that what they doing is helping him to blow up, and I'm talking about blow his mind up, right? Uh, and when it's over, they'll just do one last story about him being in a mental institution, or whatever happened to him and all his billions of dollars and shit, and they'll move on. You know what I mean? So like I said, the shit that he's doing, I all the way going back, slavery is a choice and all this stuff like that. Yeah, I know he's very ridiculous, but I just don't. Uh, I don't think he's to be taken seriously. He said the point was contrasting the scope of knowledge, not supreme knowledge, but colloquial or scientific with the power of imagination. Um, I mean, I understand what he's saying, right? But uh, I, uh, I just disagree with him. I think he's wrong. You know, and I have a great understanding of creative power.
I'll be back. Like just a minute.
You know what I'm saying? And using creative power, using your creative power, and knowledge that comes from inside than knowledge that comes from outside. You said, yeah, it's a man who had the world as a platform and now it's limited. So he's ranting alone in a big empty house when before he had arenas. Yeah, but I'm saying, I mean, what else did people think was gonna happen? See, this is one of them classic examples, right? This is one of them classic examples. Cause look, and don't get me wrong, he was doing his thing, but I have an opinion about what kind of catapulted Kanye into full pop culture. Does anybody remember when it was Hurricane Katrina and Kanye jumped on the stage somewhere? He jumped he jumped on the stage somewhere and said George Bush doesn't care about black people. See, here's the thing. When he did it that time, because who he was talking about, because of who he was talking about, it was kind of, nobody fully said that, yo, this brother needs to be, we need to watch this brother here. Then remember, he jumped on the stage and said Beyonce was greater than Tina Turner. See, that was the first started. They didn't appreciate that because you came in and you did something to the white woman. You came in and interrupted the white women and all of that. I'm saying this is his track record. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's see, nobody thinks nothing when he's doing his crazy stuff and it's affecting other people. But see, he comes with the Black Klansman stuff or Black Klans uniform or whatever y'all saying, right? Then now all of a sudden, yo, what's going on? Man, look, but I also look at it in the I looked at it in the terms that we discussed yesterday, in terms of it does seem like they in the era, right, of uh, taking back some of this black excellence, or at least some of the financing for the black excellence. The kind of the people that's been at the top, the black elite or whatever, and particularly the males, they seem to be Operation Takedown right now. It's being another, like, this is like like a recertification type of thing. Like your house Negro status, you need to be recertified with your house Negro status, or we about to take all that money back. Keep fucking around, put your ass in jail. But you know how you got to renew. You know how you got to renew your driver's license. Right now, cats got to renew their house Negro status, or look, the next day you gonna be on the news for something you can't take back. Yeah, right. You're right. I agree with that. He destroyed himself, but other people that we see doing that, right? Like, he's destroying himself in that way, right? But if he was slitting his wrist, we would be like, damn, man, this brother need help, man. What's the fuck? We would be saying, what the fuck is wrong with the people around Kanye, man? it's one of the things where look, you got to be aware of the world that we in. You know what I'm saying? You got to be aware. When you interacting with these different people. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, let's take it. Let's take it to how we deal with things, right? Now, see, remember when he made whatever statements, and then they went through and they voided whatever contracts or whatever, right? See, that's the interorientation that he made with them. And that doesn't mean, like I said, don't do that. I'm just saying for you to know and understand what that means. See, in the 1 in 36, we see that the interorientation was made, but the people didn't know what that meant. Even when you look historically, they got the letters where, the African kings is writing them saying, yo, look, this is not what we agreed to. Luke Cage, I'm saying all of this is, to me, all of this is the signs of crazy. This is all. And listen, I always say I got to stop doing that. That's a sign of mental health struggles, man. Let me not say crazy. Like, why would anybody, why? Hey, listen, in Luke Cage, mind you, we're not talking about one time that happened. Like in your regular everyday endeavors, right? Who do you know like that that's not nuts? You know, like I think I see a bigger picture there. I think I see a bigger picture there of somebody who that they taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, hopefully that don't happen. You know what I'm saying? But if he wind up, you know what I'm saying, in a bad position, uh, it's going to be tragic. You know, you said Kanye made a song called Cuisine, and what he revealed in that song should give clarity on why he is the way he is. Yeah, I mean, I don't really listen to Kanye like that. He's had some songs that I really like, but I'm not really a Kanye fan like that. I'm just saying that uh I mean, it's one of the things where how many isolated incidents make a pattern. Where especially in hip hop, right? You know what I'm saying? All of the brothers that, you know what I'm saying, was I mean, you still got Dr. Dre, you still got Jay-Z, but I'm saying, yo, look, you got Puffy, Suge Knight, just various people that, you know what I'm saying, and Russell Simmons. You said, oh, he made a song called Cousin that, and it said this took place when he was a child. All right, so that sounds very serious right there. That sounds very serious right there. But look, I mean, it's tragic, but it makes, yeah, it does make some of the stuff that he's doing. Uh, not so out of line. I wouldn't say out of or not out of the ordinary, but not so out of line with, you know, if this is it's YouTube, so we don't even want to talk like that. But like I said, man, all of that stuff is tragic, G. You ever think those people are your friends? Whew. Yeah, so listen. See that's one of them things where, like I said, is see, like for instance, right? You remember it was a white actor that got in some tax trouble around the same time as Wesley Snipes. And what they did with him is they made him make a whole bunch of movies and give them all the proceeds. Right, but he didn't go to jail. That was the deal. He made a whole bunch of, like, it was a whole bunch of bad movies too. And I remember at a certain point it came out that was like, yeah, he had to make those to pay off that IRS bill. So I'm just saying, if this got revealed about somebody else, right? If this got revealed, right? If this got revealed about a colored man, right? Would that make a difference in how they report on him? Yeah, Nicolas Cage, that's what it was. That was the that was the white actor that they allowed to just make movies to pay his tax bill off. You know what I'm saying? Look, there is right now, right? There's a white singer that he's been kind of flipping out lately. And but that's been kind of the story to him, where it's like everybody's kind of like, yeah, we trying to figure out what happened to him. We trying to figure out what happened to him, why he's acting like this. They not just portraying him. They portraying just Kanye as a racist and as this and as that, and not as a mentally unstable person, right? That could have had tragic events in their past. You said Nicolas Cage uncle is Francis Ford Coppola. I think it's pops. I think that's his pops. I was under the impression that Francis Ford Coppola was his pops, but I don't know. You could be right. But I'm saying, look, all of that being what it is, because at the end of the day, look, Kanye's done a lot of dumb shit, right? He said a lot of dumb shit, but Kanye, he ain't hurt nobody. I remember one time he had some little type of altercation where he snatched the reporter's camera and threw it on the ground or something. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of our community, we got this dude that's talking fucking crazy that we could just ignore. We could not click on that link and he don't exist. So that's what I'm saying. To a certain degree, whatever's going on with him, they blowing it up. This is not 6 o'clock news. See, we got to do the knowledge to. I mean, with all these things, you know, uh, you know, your attention causes things to exist, man. Or at the very least, causes things to come into your field of realization. If you're looking for it, you're gonna find it. And see, at the end of the day,
Almost a young cats, standing about 18, got caught off the election notice. I'm about to go see one come in from Scott. I ain't do that.
they was there when I came. When I came, when I went to get my food, it was a whole bunch of.
They got it. Fuck is that?
Yeah, it's probably ain't no school this week.
They ain't saying
they, they don't know what to do. But just saying that, from the perspective, like, see, we talk about these people, right? But at the same time, you're like, all right, the media is manipulating people or whatever, right? But are you responding to the manipulation? Meaning that's the way they manipulating it right now, right? Is that, look, like I said, we made money off of Kanye when he was on his way up. And you got to realize what a cash cow Kanye's been. I mean, listen, they made a little bit of cake off of Amber Rose. They made a whole lot of cake off of Kim Kardashian. see who ate that shit up, who ate that up, who was the one, who's the ones that paid. And now they're gonna make money off them on the way down. Like a lot of times, people complain, yo, why is only this kind of movies being made, right? Look, I don't know if they have that kind of statistic, right? But how many Caucasian people you think went to see Boys in the Hood? Yeah, yeah, they might have seen it now that it's, come a cult classic. But how many colored people you think went to see Juice when it was in the theaters? Shit, Kanye sold about 180 million units. All right. And look, that's even more money they made off of it. How many sneakers he sold? How many t-shirts? How many shades? That's one of the things that they make these people famous for, is because they can sell us stuff. You see, we responding to the indoctrination. But it's just look, I see him as being in too fragile of a mental state to be a villain. Now, don't get me wrong, too. See, people that be like that, they very manipulative too, though. Don't get that part twisted. They will manipulate you. But you know, that's enough easy. We got any we got any other questions in there before we wind this one down? She was reading a book from Abu Shahid, and the guy said that, all right, listen, it's it's not that, I'm not even gonna humor this. I'm not even gonna humor this. See, first of all, and see, here's another thing, right? Abu Shahid was physically blind. And there was times where he had disputes with people on Facebook before you could call people on Messenger, before it was Messenger. So there's some question to uh, who was doing the writing on some of the things that got Abu Shahid on. Let me say that one thing right there. You know, other than that, I just also say that, uh, if you refer to, uh, various, uh, I guess you could say information that he's supposed to be the source of, right? There's different stories about how supreme mathematics was manifested. Was what it called me. Like I don't do the live stream at the same time every week. So I gotta take that back to the last couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks, I haven't done it at the same time. So there's that. Yeah, I've been saying I don't know what the cutoff period is. It's to where history starts time starts bending or something and history starts taking alternative routes. So you said he said it on Infmaker's page. So which one was that? Was that the one where he said that is from the 13th degree and he got the idea that mathematics was supreme mathematics was supposed to be manifested in 12 steps. He was he was supposed to it was supposed to be manifested in 12 steps and something happened and then the next thing he saw law and justice with the supreme mathematics over here and 12 Jews over here. Or was that the one where he argued with Allah for 3 days about whether knowledge come before wisdom? Which version was it that he said? He said in the book he never argued with Allah. Well, what did he say in the post, Julie TV? I should speak to Inf. Now, see, look, me and Inf have had this discussion extensively. So look, Don Bishop, you see, Julie TV heard the 3 day story, right? Now, in the book that you read, he said he never argued with Allah. But Julie TV heard the other version too, that he argued with Allah for 3 days. So this is why I'm saying, listen, guys, listen. Allah is Allah. And we 5%. You know, whatever I ain't in 5%, NGE, whatever I'm saying. Allah is Allah. Now it's out.
Just.
Oh, it's 10 right now. So yeah, it's a it's a it's a long story over here. So, but basically I'm about to make tracks. You said I don't want to misquote him. It's an old video. You're not misquoting him. I'm the one who said that he said that, and you said you heard it too. You didn't quote nothing. You ain't say he said nothing. You just said you heard the 3 day story too. It's listen. I'm not offended. You know what I'm saying? I'm just it's just certain things that's like, oh man, see, I don't even want to have to humor this stuff. But I will say this, you know, the people who was there, they was like, look, he was with a lot. That was, that was his man. That was his people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, discredit the brother. I'm just saying that I don't know where these stories came from. I mean, look, people put these statements out there in public, man. See, that's why my live stream, right? My live stream is a little bit more controlled environment. Like, see, you can't come on here and talk about how you had 800 guys, how you had 800 guys on the yard in one penitentiary at the rally, you know, and then the administration says something to you, right? Because they was like, look, try to keep it to under 10 brothers. So when you have 50 brothers on the yard, 60 brothers on the yard, 70 brothers on the yard, 80 brothers on the yard, 150 brothers. They didn't say nothing to you all those times. They waited till you got 800, 800 5%ers on one yard at one rally. Boy, they said something to you about that. You can't come on this channel talking like that. I mean, the video, Julie TV. I'm fairly sure I saw it. As well as I'm aware. Look, there's rallies where some of this is spoken on. Yeah, confabulations. That's a good word right there, Dubois. You can't confabulate over it. Hmm. You can't look. You can't confabulate. And you can't prefabulate over here. Listen, Julie TV. Look, you put it in the link. Everybody check the link. Julie TV. Julie TV put the link to the video in the live stream right now. Look, Don Bishop put the title to the book that you read in the live stream. Cause see, I ain't got to talk about nobody. Do the knowledge for yourself. Everybody check it for themselves. Yeah, leave it in the comment section too when I go off the live. Don Bishop, you make sure you put the title. You put the title to the book in the live so everybody can check it for themselves. The Naked Truth by Abu Shahid. That's the name of that's the title of the book. So like I said, I explained to y'all the whole story of what's going on down here right now. You know what I mean? In terms of I gotta make tracks right now. The Prophet Muhammad documentary. Yeah, I saw the Prophet Muhammad documentary, and I actually had seen that before. I'm not sure if I looked at the whole thing when I saw it this time, but yeah, I saw that before. I guess it might have been when it first came out. But see, look, like I said, look, it's I'm a lot of times I'm just telling you what I know about the situation. But look, the bar said, when he was getting the knowledge, he was told to, you know, keep his head forward and not really pay too much attention to that book, or the video, whichever one it was. But yes, that's not new. But of course, everybody that it's your first time or whatever, hit the subscribe button, uh, hit the notification bell so you can know when we come back on. We probably make it back on. See what I'm gonna do, because I wanted to demonstrate. I wanted to demonstrate on the rings that I could do dips now. So we probably have another episode up top. But Prince Supreme, Prince Supreme said that I had to pop out over here. You know what I'm saying? Because I get you look can't the could be my own arrogance speaking here, but the world needs my teachings. That's what we all like to think. But at any rate, everybody else, do the each one teach one, hit the like button, and I'll see y'all in a couple of days.